Hi friends, good morning. Next question in our series. Friends, that is cardiac cycle. Friends, this is another important question. See, first we'll see the definition of cardiac cycle, friends. See, the cardiac events that occur from beginning of one heartbeat to the beginning of another heartbeat is called as cardiac cycle, friends. Friends, cardiac cycle అంటే ఏంటి ఫ్రెండ్స్? హార్దిక వలయము అంటే ఏంటి ఫ్రెండ్స్? మనకి ఒక హృదయ స్పందనం నుండి మరొక హృదయ స్పందనం వరకు మధ్య గల కాలాన్ని మనం ఏమంటాం ఫ్రెండ్స్? కార్డియాక్ సైకిల్ అంటాం ఫ్రెండ్స్. వన్ సెకండ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, ద కార్డియాక్ ఈవెంట్స్ దట్ అక్కర్ ఫ్రమ్ బిగినింగ్ ఆఫ్ వన్ హార్ట్ బీట్ టు ది బిగినింగ్ ఆఫ్ అనదర్ హార్ట్ బీట్. ఫ్రెండ్స్, బిగినింగ్ ఆఫ్ వన్ హార్ట్ బీట్ టు ది beginning of another heartbeat is called as cardiac cycle, friends. This cardiac cycle, friends, or you say one complete heartbeat includes two stages, friends. One is systole and then one is diastole. Friends, what is systole? See friends, systole means contraction of heart chambers. You know friends, we have two atria and two ventricles. Contraction of these heart chambers is called as what friends? Systole, or simply you say contraction of the heart. Okay friends, what is diastole? Friends, relaxation of the heart chambers is called as diastole, friends. Once again friends, contraction of the heart is called as systole, relaxation of the heart is called as diastole. In other way, contraction of the heart chambers is called as systole, relaxation of the heart chambers is called as diastole, friends. Here you have to remember these two, friends. One is systole and then one is diastole. Systole plus diastole together called as what, friends? One heartbeat. One heartbeat has one systole and one diastole. You have to remember it, friends. One heartbeat has one systole and one diastole. Okay friends, this cardiac cycle, see friends, this cardiac cycle has three phases. This is very, very important, friends. What are those three phases? Atrial systole, ventricular systole, and joint diastole, friends. Cardiac cycle has three phases, friends. What are those three phases? One is atrial systole, second one is ventricular systole, third one is joint diastole. First, we'll see what are the minimum things happen in these three phases. Friends, atrial systole means what, friends? Contraction of the atria, that is right atrium and left atrium. Next, friends, what is meant by ventricular systole? Contraction of the ventricles. Next, friends, what is joint diastole? Friends, joint means here both atria and ventricles. You have to remember it, friends. Both two atria and two ventricles on in relaxed state. These four chambers, if these four chambers is in relaxed state, that condition is called as what, friends? Joint diastole. Once again, friends, a cardiac cycle has three phases. What are those three phases, friends? Atrial systole, ventricular systole, and joint diastole. Okay friends, now first we'll take atrial systole, friends. Atrial systole. See friends, here. See, what is atrial systole? You know it, friends. Atrial systole means contraction of atria. Okay, friends. When atria contracts, what is the fate of the blood? To which direction it moves? Okay, first you have to know what are the things happen in the atrial systole. Friends, first you know very, very important. This is very, very important for NEET and MSET, friends. The duration of the atrial systole is 0.1 seconds, friends. Friends, the duration of the atrial systole is 0.1 seconds. Friends, you know, for completion of the duration of the complete cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. Out of those 0.8 seconds, atrial systole requires only 0.1 seconds, friends. Here you have to remember one more thing. When atrial systole requires 0.1 seconds, remaining 0.7 seconds, it is in the diastolic state. You have to remember it, friends. Okay, come to atrial systole, friends. The duration of the atrial systole is 0.1 seconds. In this what happens friends? Both atria contracts. Friends, atrial systole means what friends? Contraction of the atria. During atrial systole, both atria contracts. When both atria in contractile state, what happens friends? Ventricles are in diastole. Ventricles are in relaxation state. Next, fourth point, very important friends. During atrial systole, only 30% of the blood, this is important for NEET and EAMCET friends. During atrial systole, only 30% of the blood pumped into the respective ventricles. Friends, means what? From right atrium, blood enters into the right ventricle. From left atrium, blood enters into the left ventricle. How much blood friends? Only 30% of the blood. This is very important friends. Only 30% of the blood pumped into the respective ventricles during atrial systole friends. Okay friends, next point you have to remember friends. During atrial systole, tricuspid and bicuspid valves open. You know friends, tricuspid and bicuspid valves are also called as atrioventricular valves. Tricuspid valve is present between right atrium and right ventricle. Bicuspid valve is present between left atrium and left ventricle. Bicuspid valve is also called as mitral valve. During atrial systole, blood pumped into the ventricles. So for that purpose, these two openings, atrioventricular apertures, which are guarded by the tricuspid and bicuspid valve, these valves are open during atrial systole. Next friends, sixth point you see friends, valves of eustachian and valves of Thebatius are closed. Friend, you know, valve of eustachian is present at the opening of the postcaval vein in the right atrium. Next, valve of the Thebatius is present in the right atrium at the opening of the coronary sinus. Okay, during atrial systole, blood must enter into the ventricles only. So for that purpose, the eustachian valve closes the opening of the postcaval vein. Thebatius valve closes the opening of the coronary sinus. Very important friends. So valves of eustachian and Thebatius valve are closed. Next, one more important friends. Semilunar valves are also closed friends. Semilunar valves are also closed. You know friends, semilunar valves are present in the what friends? In the ventricles at the pulmonary arch and aortic arch. Okay friends, that is about the atrial systole friends. Once again, atrial systole, the time requirement is duration is what? 0.1 seconds. Both atria contracts, ventricles are in diastolic state, 30% of the blood pumped into the respective ventricles, tricuspid and bicuspid valves opened, eustachian valve and Thebatius valve closed, semilunar valves are also closed friends. Next, come to the second one friends. What is that friends? Ventricular systole. Okay friends, what is ventricular systole? Ventricular systole means what friends? Both ventricles are in contract state. Okay, ventricles, you know friends, we have two ventricles, left ventricle and right ventricle. Right ventricle receives deoxygenated blood from the right atrium. Left ventricle receives oxygenated blood from the left atrium during atrial systole. How much blood friends? Only 30% of the blood. After atrial systole, ventriculars contract. That is called as ventricular systole. Contraction of the ventricles is called as ventricular systole friends. So now you see the things what happened in the ventricular systole. See friends, the time requirement or the duration of the ventricular systole 0.3 seconds friends, only 0.3 seconds. In this state what happened friends? Both ventricles are in contractile state, they are in contract. Next, atria are in diastole at the same time friends. When ventricles contract, atria are in diastole. Next, very important friends, blood pump into respective aorta from ventricles. When ventricles contract, blood moves to what friends? Into the respective aorta. What are those aorta friends? One is pulmonary aorta. You know friends, pulmonary aorta present at the proximal part of the right ventricle. It carries blood to the lungs for purification. Next, systemic aorta is present at the proximal part of the left ventricle. it carries oxygenated blood to the various body parts. You know friends, human beings have left systemic arch. Sorry, mammals have left systemic arch. That is very, very important, friends. Mammals have left systemic arch. Okay, friends. Now, in the ventricular systole or during ventricular systole, blood pump into respective aorta. That is pulmonary aorta and systemic aorta. Next, very, very important, friends. Fifth point, tricuspid and bicuspid valve closed. So, friends, when ventricles contract, blood has to move into the aorta only, friends. So because of that, to prevent backward flow of blood from ventricles to arteries, what happened, friends? The tricuspid and bicuspid valve closed. Next, friends, semilunar valves open. Friends, you know semilunar valves present at the opening of the pulmonary aorta and systemic aorta. For flow of blood, what happened, friends? These semilunar valves open. That is about what, friends? Ventricular systole. Friends, now come to the joint diastole. Friends, what is joint diastole? Joint diastole means relaxation of 4 chambers of the heart. That is, 2 atria and 2 ventricles are in relaxed state. Okay, friends? Joint diastole means relaxation of atria and relaxation of ventricle, friends. Joint diastole means relaxation of atria and relaxation of ventricles. Next, friends, in this phase, atria and ventricles are in relaxed state. You know it, friends. During this phase, blood through veins enter into the respective atria from their respective ventricles. Friends, here you see, during joint diastole, blood through veins. Friends, you know, right atrium receives impure blood from various body parts. Okay, that is precaval vein, postcaval vein and coronary sinus. These 3 veins open into the right atrium. At the same time, left atrium receives pure blood or oxygenated blood from the lungs through pulmonary veins, friends. Okay, so during this phase, what happened, friends? Through veins enter into the respective atria. Next, friends, from atria, blood enters into the ventricles. Okay, here you remember one more important thing, friends. During joint diastole, 70% of the blood enters into the ventricles, friend. That is very, very important. Only 30% of the blood enters into the ventricles at the time of atrial systole. Remaining 70% of the blood enters into the ventricles during joint diastole. Okay, friends. Next, another important point, friends. During joint diastole, no blood flows out of ventricles because semilunar valves are remain closed. Here in this stage, ventricles are in relaxed state, friends. So during that time, what happened? The semilunar valves are closed. So the blood won't move from ventricles to other parts of the body. Next, what is the duration of joint diastole, friends? 0.4 seconds. Once again, friends, the duration of atrial systole 0.1 seconds. The duration of ventricular systole 0.3 seconds. The duration of joint diastole 0.4 seconds, friends. The total becomes what, friends? 0.8 seconds. 0.1 plus 0.3 plus 0.4 seconds, friends. Total becomes 0.8 seconds, friends. Okay, friends. Next, the 2 atria and 2 ventricles are in relaxed state. You know, friends. Next, blood from vena cava. Friends, what are vena cava? They are the large veins. One is superior vena cava, another one is inferior vena cava. And pulmonary veins enters into the respective atria. Superior vena cava and inferior vena cava carries blood from body parts to the right atrium. Pulmonary veins carry pure blood from lungs to the left atrium, friends. Next, blood from atria enters into respective ventricles, friends. From right atrium, blood enters into the right ventricle. From left atrium, blood enters into the left ventricle, friends. Next, in this phase, during joint diastole, see, friends, tricuspid and bicuspid valves opened. Tricuspid and bicuspid valves opened. Next, friends, semilunar valves closed. Semilunar valves closed. Okay, friends, this is about the cardiac cycle, friends. Okay. Next, friends, now come to the time calculation of the cardiac cycle, friends. Friends, no need to write in the IPE. This is for NEET and MSET, friends. Okay. See, friends, the duration of cardiac cycle is about 0.8 seconds. You know, friends, how we are calculating, friends. You know, the human heart beats 72 times per minute. Okay, means if you see 60 divided by 72, it becomes what, friends? 0.8 seconds. So the total duration of one cardiac cycle is what, friends? 0.8 seconds. Now we have to calculate it, friends. Now time calculation, you know, friends, for atrial systole. First you take atrial time, friends. You see atrial time. You know, friends, atrial time means what here? How much time it is in the systolic state, how many seconds it is in the diastolic state. You know, friends, atrial systole requires, or the duration of atrial systole is 0.1 seconds only. So in remaining 0.7 seconds, it is in diastolic state. See, friends, atrial systole 0.1 seconds, atrial diastole 0.7 seconds. Total becomes what, friends? 0.8 seconds. See, friends, that is very, very important. Atrial systole requires 0.1 seconds. So in remaining 0.7 seconds, the atria are in diastolic state. You have to keep in mind, friends. So the total becomes 0.8 seconds. Next, friends, come to the ventricular time, friends. See, friends, you know, ventricular systole 0.3 seconds. No, ventricular systole, what is the duration of ventricular systole, friends? 0.3 seconds. Remaining 0.5 seconds, in which stage it is? It is in ventricular diastolic state. So ventricular systole, you know, the duration of the ventricular systole 0.3 seconds. Remaining 0.5 seconds, it is in the diastolic state. Okay, friends, the total becomes 0.8 seconds. Okay, friends. Now you see here, friends, this is complete cardiac cycle. See, friends, here auricular systole or atrial systole 0.1 seconds, ventricular systole 0.3 seconds, joint diastole, friends, what is that, friends? 0.4 seconds. Okay, friends, thank you. Good day. This is about the cardiac cycle, friend.